It came out like some glass, man.
It's crazy. Man, you see it? It looks great. I like it. Do you?
All right, so the last time you probably saw the car, it was last night, and we just laid down the high build primer. We did 2 coats, and this is definitely a learning lesson for me since I've never painted a car. Basically, I didn't realize that you can use a reducer in high build primer. I kind of was just going off the directions that Restoration Shop, the brand that I bought the primer from, had on the back of the can, so that's bad on me. So kind of sprayed out all weird and splotchy and very rough textured feel, so I basically had to take down a bunch of it. And currently seeing me in the process, I used 400 grit sandpaper again, and I kind of took it down to as smooth as I can. I'm probably going to go down a little bit more and then use my block and 600 grit and see how smooth I can get it. I'm on the fence if I want to try primering it again. We'll see how much comes off. I mean, the roof is the most sanded, and you can kind of see that what was underneath is showing, but we'll see how crucial I think it is to primer it again. I mean, whatever spots are showing are white, and I'm painting the car white anyways, and I honestly don't want to have to spray it again and then accidentally have it come off too thick. I don't think I'm gonna have that problem when I spray base coat or clear, since you know you're using a reducer and it's already known, or it is already thinner, so it won't be as thick as the high build primer. But kind of a step backwards, but I think it's coming out, just a lot more work. But next step is to continue sanding a little bit more and then assess where we're at and maybe start doing some base. So for the base coat, I'm going to use the $15 Harbor Freight gun, and I think I looked that up a little bit more, and this is how you control the fan speed, and I tested it out with some prep ball, just putting it into the container and then spraying it onto like a piece of paper or cardboard, and I think I got the fan spread pretty good. So I think with the base coat and the reducer I'm going to use, I think it'll come out a lot better. So all right, so the base coat was laid down, and it honestly came out way better than I thought. This actually came out really good. So this is just base coat before I'm doing the clear coat. I think dust wise, I'm pretty good. This quarter panel got a little bit of dust in it, and then there's like a tiny little piece of something black, maybe hair fell in there. I'm gonna get it with a razor blade in a minute. But honestly, it laid out really, really well. The only hiccup was one run on the quarter panel over here, right over there. So I think I'm gonna let this cure for like 30 to 45 minutes, and then I might attempt to wet sand that to get it out. I'm gonna quickly do a little bit of research in between this and the clear coat, so I will probably wet sand that a little bit. But the base coat went down and it's way better than the primer, so really happy with that. So I might wet sand that, and then we're just gonna do some clear. All right, just finished doing 2 coats of clear, and I think for my first time spraying, I think it came out pretty good. There's definitely some orange peel in the clear coat, but I guess you can kind of see with the light here. So definitely some, you know, little imperfections, but I think overall it came out really good. Um, because it's windy today and I had to have the garage door open, it did get a little bit of dust in the paint, but I think what I'm gonna do is let it, you know, cure for a little bit, finish all the other body panels, and then maybe down the road I'll wet sand and buff it, and then that'll definitely make it look a lot better. But I think for what I'm expecting from this paint job, I think it was pretty good. So I'm gonna let this cure for a couple days, and then I'll roll it outside and then start with the body kit, the doors, the hood, the gas door, and then the taillight garnish, and then that should be it. So well, hopefully that comes out just as good. I think for the primer, I've learned that you definitely need to use reducer. So once I use reducer for that, hopefully it doesn't come out thick and I won't have to sand it all the way down again. But yeah, all right, we'll see what happens with the smaller body pieces. I just finished spraying base and clear on the fenders, doors, and hood. I can't tell if it's just my mind, but I don't know if it's sprayed as good as the rest of the whole car. But it looks about the same. I don't know. I guess we gotta just let it cure and we'll see. If I remember correctly, the more that the body actually cured, the better it looked. So I guess we just gotta give it some time, let it cure, then we'll see what happens. All right, so I got the doors, fenders, and the hood on the car, and for whatever reason, when I painted it, it came out, it almost looks like slight gray hue, whatever I painted last, so the doors, the fenders, and the hood. But I mean, overall, it looks pretty good. In the sun, it looks good. If you look at this line over here, you can kind of tell the difference, but I think overall it's good. I'm gonna do the primer, the body kit, the wing, and then all these like miscellaneous pieces like mirror caps and stuff like that. And depending on how all this comes out, if it comes out looking just as good as the chassis, I will probably just redo the door, the hood, and the fenders. But I mean, if this also comes out kind of a little rougher than I wanted, then I'll just call it a day, and maybe later down the road I'll polish it or buff and polish it. So primer these, sand them down, and then I'm gonna paint the pieces probably tomorrow. So hopefully we can start assembly either later today for whatever parts I have painted already, like doing some seals and stuff to finish up the doors, but hopefully soon we'll have this full assembled. So all right, let's start spraying. All right, got all the pieces, remaining pieces, mirror end caps, wing, just everything, bumpers. Kind of rigged everything up as best as I could. I'm probably gonna try and cover this wood up so no dust comes out, but yeah, this should be the last pieces, and then we should be able to start assembling the car. But yeah, so I'm just wipe all these pieces down, probably cover some of that wood up so no dust gets kicked up, and then yeah, just wipe them down and then start primering and then let that cure so I can start sanding that down smooth and then spray some base and clear. So all right, here we go. Alright, so I had an issue where I was trying to reuse the cheap guns from Harbor Freight, and I mean, I tried cleaning them as best as possible, but I think the high build primer that I got is really clogging up the guns. And I try to clean them as much as possible, and maybe I'm not understanding exactly how to clean them like properly and well. I mean, I took them completely apart, but they still seem like they were clogged up. So when I was trying to spray, they were barely spraying anything, and the fan spread was super concentrated, and so it was really messing up my parts. So I ran to Harbor Freight and I got 2 more guns. I think these are like the $30 ones instead of the $15 ones, or no, they're 25 bucks each. So I bought 2. One for the primer, which now I've learned that for the high build primer, I know it kind of defeats the purpose of it, but I'll do the 4-to-1 mixture with the hardener, but I'll then reduce it with some urethane reducer. I think I'd kind of do like a 1 part with reducer, so it's like 4-1-1, and it made it spray out a lot better out of a 1.4 mil tip. So these are the results I got for the primer. With that new gun, which is way better than all the other sprays I did. So I think just either I got to figure out a way to do a nice new kind of mid-level gun, kind of like maybe $150, $200 gun, or if I ever do this again, I'll just have to keep in mind that I got to spray everything at once, or I got to replace guns in between. So I think next time, if I were to ever do this again, I would find a way to do this kind of all on the car. That way it can be a lot more seamless instead of taking parts off the car. But I mean, to be honest, we're so limited in space that even the parts like this, you could barely even fit on the sides. I know it looks like a lot, but I have it at 0.5 zoom for the lens. So it seems like I have a lot more space, but I don't have a lot of space in the garage. So, but I think it came out really good. I'm going to give it time to cure. I think the tech sheet says like 2 to 3 hours, then you can start to sand, but it's already like 5 o'clock. And so for the body of the car, which I think came out the best, I just gave it kind of like the night to cure. So I think I'm just going to give it the night to cure, and then tomorrow morning I will come in here. I'll use about, I think it's like 600 or 800 grit sandpaper. I think I'm going to use 600. Just lightly sand the top coat of this primer, just to make sure it gets nice and smooth, and then I will be spraying it with base and clear. So the front end looks very bad, so I'm just gonna redo the fenders, the doors, and the hood. Just redo it.
Closer. Closer.